I'm recording this now. So Alexander, thank you. Thank you so much for coming back for Mark 2.
Yes,
The
back
second
again.
part. And apparently yesterday, while we were talking, I couldn't hear these noise cancelling headphones. An enormous storm rolled through. And there was wind, there was lightning, there was just, a whole sort of weather event. I couldn't hear it. And that's what dropped the internet out.
Yeah.
And so, it's cold here today, but it's calmer. So I'm hoping that the internet will hold. But also, hello viewer, I couldn't record the video of our chat yesterday, so I can now. So hello. So you're going to get the juicy bit of the podcast and the wrap up. But listen to it all. Listen to it all on Spotify, SoundCloud, my website, or Apple Podcasts. And yeah, so because it is actually a really great chat. And if I'm being honest with you, viewer/listener and Alexander, I'm hoping that we got to a really good place in the chat yesterday, and I'm hoping that we can just jump straight back into it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I had a little time to prepare myself now, so that's good. That's a good part of it, right?
I hope not enough time, not too much time. There's something to be said, and I said this to Michael last week, to Michael Diorio, and when he's like, "Oh, I didn't speak with any notes or anything like that," I'm like, "That's fantastic. That means
I have
that
no notes.
Good.
I have no notes, but I was thinking about the last question. So yeah, I'm ready for part 2.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad one of us is, because I'm now going to press record on the little recording machine down here that does the magic stuff. Let's hope that works. Yeah. Okay, so there are red lights going, the big red circle recording button is doing its thing. All right. So, yeah. All right. So, listener, that little pause of dead air was the point in our conversation when the internet dropped out, and the Zoom call and the Zoom connection that I had with Alexander dropped out. And I was left hanging. I've edited the 90 seconds of dead air or so before I realised what was going on back to those 5 seconds. But you, listener, don't need a reminder, but it's been 24 hours since our chat and the internet dropped out. So this is for Alexander. I'm just going to remind him of the question. And so, Alexander, welcome back.
Thank you.
It would have been a very awkward way to end this conversation and this connection over coffee if we didn't get to do this. But to recap, the question that I asked was, what do you feel and what do you think is the impact on a gay man, on anyone on the LGBTQ spectrum, for being outed before they're ready? So essentially having what I do call in inverted commas a bad coming out. So coming out before they're ready, or being outed. What impact do you think that has on for this audience, a gay man?
Actually, my ex-boyfriend, he was outed by one of the people in his village. Actually, when I hear the story, it was really heartbreaking, because he was sorting things out for himself. And he was raised in a village which is really it's a really religious area here in the Netherlands. And that made it even harder for him to come out as being gay. And what happened is that someone found out that he was having dates with a guy, and then told his niece, which he is very good related to. And for him, that was really a fuck up moment in his life, because he was not ready for it yet. He didn't know how to tell. But what he knew for sure is that he absolutely didn't want that anyone else would tell it. So
Mm.
I
Mm.
think his parents and his surroundings reacted good. But what happens is that it has such a big impact on your self-esteem, process for you to come out, and it is building up, or it is like climbing a mountain, and when you're not at the top of that mountain, it is really, really hard for your self-esteem.
Mm.
um, on the long run, I don't know what impact it had on him, but in that moment you feel so small, you feel panicked, um,
Mm.
and you think the world is disappearing under your feet.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a very eloquent way of describing it. And I certainly recall the fear of
Yeah.
being outed. And you know, as we said yesterday, but you know, just moments ago in this recording, that you know, living, you know, in fear of that, like a look, or you know, a certain, like, you know, mannerisms that might be seen as being gay, like as ridiculous as that sounds to say out loud,
Mm-hmm.
that you know, that
Mm-hmm.
something somehow would give me away. And
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think it is very dangerous as well to be outed, because it is a point that you didn't accept yourself yet. Because in that moment you can be still disgusted by the fact that you like boys as a guy, or like girls as a girl, or
Mm.
whatever. um, it is very dangerous, because if you are outed in the time you're still not accepted yourself as who you are, um, yeah, what will happen with that person if the world will judge on him or on her?
Mm. Mm.
Um, the suicide rate of gay men is still too high,
Yes,
and I'm not
staggeringly high.
saying that
Mm.
I'm not saying that everyone who is being outed or is going to be outed will commit suicide, but I think people have to take into account that this is a very critical and dangerous situation if you are taking their role in this
Yep.
process. And I
Yep.
think people will not realize how hard and devastating it is when you out someone.
Yeah, yeah, certainly, you know, that's a fantastic point. That you know, the shame, the sheer shame, and I call it a shame
Yeah.
storm. Like when you are exposed for something, whatever it is that you know you that you're ashamed of, and we humans are wonderful fickle creatures, and so many, like, you know, what causes shame for one person, you know, doesn't for many others. But when we are triggered, and when we have a shame storm and enter a shame storm, we will say and do, the temptation is to say and do almost anything to make it stop.
Yeah.
And it takes such courage, as you know, such a you know, I'm putting my hand up here, listener, as someone who frequently experiences shame storms. I know now that it will pass. It will pass. Simply sit and let it go. Like, they are just they're horrible thoughts and feelings that are whirring around you. But our shame cannot survive being spoken,
No.
and being met with empathy. So need to reach out. And this is hard if you're feeling lonely,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
someone somewhere has like will listen to you, will not judge, and not go to solve it, but your shame, you will feel better. You always do when you speak up.
That's beautiful. Actually, my most recent podcast is recorded last week. It is up now as well, and I had a conversation with Sipke-Jan Bousema. He's a Dutch television host and producer and gay rights activist. And I spoke with him about coming out in the province or in the countryside, which is much different than it is in the big cities. And what he said and what he suggested, and I also posted a quote on my Instagram page, is that it is really important to find an environment where you feel safe, to gather people around you you can trust and relate to, and talk to them first before you come out, because they can give your confidence. And if you don't have the person around you in your environment, there, Phil and I are there for you. You can always reach out to us and we can help you. And there are many more people out there who you maybe don't know in person, but maybe it's good to talk to someone who you don't know in person if you don't have that person around you.
Yeah, I will add, like, yes, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Alexander. You know, you're there, I'm here. And also on my site, in the resources page on my site, I have links to crisis support in many different countries. So in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, in the US, the UK, and Ireland. And I want to add more. And, you know, people who are trained counsellors, crisis support, specifically for LGBTQ people, to help you through those you know, situations that shame storm, the lack of worth, loneliness, like, and the thoughts and feelings of loneliness can lead us to some pretty dark places. And the effort to make the desire to make them stop can lead us to think some very dark thoughts. And I feel you mentioned in your response there, Alexander, about trust, and, you know, going to someone that you can trust. And I feel, and I see this quite often in my work, where a gay man has been outed. He can really struggle to trust others. He can really struggle to trust himself. And when it's laid out like that, very, very clearly in like a very clear statement that someone does not trust themselves, that's a very big statement, let alone trusting other people. But, you know, or can only trust themselves, cannot trust someone because they don't want to be hurt again.
No.
Both are not ideal situations, in fantastic understatement there.
No. But the same counts for those who are not being outed, but are pushed to out themselves.
Yes.
Like, it is good to tell the world, go for it. I'm supporting you, and I think that's really good to that you're supporting. But it is not up to you when someone is going to out him or herself. You have to take that into account. Don't push the person to out him or herself.
And because coming out is not a one-time only thing. I said yesterday earlier in the discussion that, you know, I wanted to put an ad in the newspaper, again showing my age, but, you know, continually come out in you know, whenever you're in a new social situation. You know, we are faced with a choice, and, you know, that is a very frequent reminder. If you are feeling shame or you know, guilt or whatever it is, like whatever, you know, resentment you're harboring about your own sexuality, you know, it is a component of you.
Yeah.
It is not everything about you. And, you know, but it is like an absolute inhibitor to connection.
Yeah.
And that's my concern on this, you
Yeah.
know, being about loneliness and authentic connection. If a part of you is inhibiting that connection with yourself, with those you love, and with your communities, that needs to be addressed. That needs to be looked
Yeah.
into, because it doesn't have to
Absolutely.
be an inhibitor.
No. No. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
Well said. Well
And
said.
because yeah, I really I do want to emphasize that, you know, we're not meant to do this alone. And, you know, whether we had a great coming out and, you know, were loved, supported, celebrated, praised for being, you know, real and being ourselves, all the way along that sort of coming out spectrum to a coming out that was really not good, not
No.
ideal. Yeah, you're not meant to do this alone. You're like, there's no prize for doing it the most alone. And being the most self-reliant in life. Generally, the prize for that is disconnection and loneliness and mistrust and not authentically connecting.
Yeah.
Oh, great answer there, Alexander. I'm glad that, you know, you had you know, an extra day to ponder that.
Yeah. I remember a story of myself actually when we were talking about it. When I studied in university, I was discovering myself, and I found out that I was attracted to guys, but still that time of period I fell in love with girls. And I remember I was working with a great group of people in sales, and we went out to a club, and then one of the guys, and he was already gay and out, he said to the whole group in front of me, where I was as well, he said, Alexander, I think it's time to come out now. And I was like shocked, and I was like, what is he telling everybody now? And he was joking, but I still remember it today. And a few weeks ago, he reacted to it was a discussion of, um, it was a discussion about what is happening in the world, and I posted something on my socials, and he reacted on it, and he wanted to start a discussion, and I felt so much. Still, it is how much? I think it's 10 years ago now, and I felt so much anger, and I was like, I don't even want to have anything to do with you. And he was like, why are you so harsh? We had such a great time when we were students. He forgot what he did, but I did not forget what he did, and I don't want to have anything to do with him again. And he was really when I explained him why, he forgot that he did that. And it is just a small part in a bigger story,
Yeah.
which we've been through as a student. But it had such an impact on me that time that I really don't want anything to do with him again, and especially because he's gay himself, so he should have known better.
Yeah. Yeah, he you know, without doubt, I feel that was, you know, you were triggered and you had a shame response,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
to his response to your social media, and you know, that I'm sure that story that you just shared there, Alexander, will resonate with so many listeners. Indeed, the listener, I'm absolutely certain that we can all, because, you know, I was thinking as I was listening to you to those times, and two stand out, you know, and you know, one when I was very young, very very young, and you know, wasn't you know, an ideal situation at all. And then the other one was like, you know, probably 10 years ago at work, and chatting one night, a whole group of us, and I like, I have a great sense of humor, and very quick with jokes and stuff like that. And I said something, said something, and like the group laughed and stuff, and someone in the group said, "Phil, will you just come out already?" And I was like, "What? What?" Like I just said, like I was just being me. Like how is that? Like, oh shit, have I suddenly like telegraphed that you know that this is it just by saying a joke? I'm like, oh my god, like no more jokes, no more jokes. Like a joke is like by saying something funny, I risk outing myself. So no, I'm going to be nice and serious. And of course, I'm really serious, but
that's I
that
understand.
the fear is real. That fear is real. And
so the conclusion of it, don't out someone, give him or her the time, don't ask questions because it has nothing to do with your business, and the person has to climb his own mountain, and one day he's at the top of the mountain and he will out himself or herself, and then it's all fine to support him or support him when he asks for it, but stay discreet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, it certainly needs to be led by the person going through it.
Yes,
and as
absolutely.
If you are a listener, the person going through it, know that you don't need to do it alone.
No.
There are so many people, so many wonderful people who are just willing and waiting to help.
And you're not the first one who goes through it.
No.
And not the last one either.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. Alexander, I've got a couple more questions to ask. What does the future for Alexander Gerard and Proud to Be Out or not podcast, like, you know, not being proud to be out, but, you know, involving the Proud to Be Out podcast or not? What does the future hold for you?
The future is very excited. Last week I quit my job. Did I say that already?
Oh, I think we said it offline. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I am now a salesperson still, and that job wasn't fulfilling already for a year anymore. So I was thinking, I want to give value to the world and to my community. And I want to start a podcast where I can have great conversations as I had with you, Phil. That is a great example, which I want to continue. And I was thinking, I have to do that for the full 100%. And what I'm going to do is finish up my work this week and next week. Then I'm done. And then I start broadcasting 3 episodes a week where I have great conversations with different guests. And what I really love is that my podcast, I got already feedback from not people who are specifically in my target audience, which, for example, a straight woman who said the things you're discussing is very, very helpful for me as well. And that's great that more people than only the gay community finds its way to my podcast. I don't want to have a podcast which is stereotyped. It is just a platform for gay men from all types of genres. You know, I'm not thinking in boxes, or maybe I do sometimes because it's for us, it's still hard as well to not think in boxes, because I think that's very human mind thinking or something like that. And what I want to do, I've been a coach already for like 5 years in my work. I coached professionals in their work and coaching them in their professional career. And what I really would like to do is creating content, develop myself as a certified coach, and help people out there. For example, people who are struggling with outing themselves or do not feel safe in their own environment. And like what you do a great job, Phil. Loneliness is such an important topic to focus on, and in this world with so many people and so many opportunities you have, we don't need to feel lonely. And there's so much more issues out there I would like to help my audience with. And we discussed it already before, but it would be amazing if we could create a kind of joint venture with you, with Michael Diorio, and with some others, where we can, when this whole situation of COVID-19 is over, where we can create events and meet each other, and, for example, have a great vacation or holiday with each other, or have a live event where we invite great storytellers or great motivational speakers. And yeah, there's so much in me, there's so much passion, there's so much fire I want to address with my podcast. It's still in there. We call it in Holland kinderschoenen. It's like children's shoes. It's now very small, but I want to make it bigger, and that people can find a place where they can feel safe, and where they can feel where they can find a place where their challenges are addressed, and where they can find solutions or inspiration. So yeah, for the coming months till the 1st of April, I'm gonna build the platform and going to create a place, a safe environment.
Awesome. I've just gotten chills there. And
it's so exciting to talk about, right? I think you feel the same for your platform, and there are more people out there. And I think the beautiful thing, what we discussed already before, is that you're there in New Zealand. I'm here in Amsterdam. Michael Diorio, for example, is there in Canada. So we are all around the world, and it is amazing to joint venture with each other, because we have one purpose, and it is great to work together and do this together.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when how do I say this? But what my first value of my 6 core values, which all start with C, this is on my website, listener. My core values. The very first one is collaborative. And I'm always down for working with people rather than in competition, because we go further when we harness our skills, experience, and what I can see like oozing out of you, Alexander, is the passion for what you do, and all like the skills, the experience, they're a distant second and third to having passion to put yourself out into the world. So it is just it's brilliant. It's brilliant to watch someone put themselves out into the world, put their real authentic selves out into the world, and to do that for the betterment, and of course there's going to be people who go, who doubt and knock, and this is something that Michael and I spoke about in the last episode. But you're doing it in your way. You're gonna, you've got the kids' shoes on. You're going to grow into those shoes are going to grow, and it's going to be awesome. I love having this seat as you grow into big shoes.
There's a beautiful, I read the book. It is a very old book. I have it here, actually. It is written by Wallace D. Wattles in 1903. So it's like already 100 years ago. It is called The Science of Getting Rich, but it is about success, how to generate success. And it's not by being, how do I say it? Like that you find competition, or that you want to fight against each other. It is about being creative, and as long as you are being creative, things come to you, and it will be successful for you and your people around you. And there's another article written, or a philosophy written by Alan Watts. It is, what do you desire? And I think it is really important to follow your heart and do what you desire. And if you do what you desire, it will be successful, because your passion is in it, and you work for it, and people will feel that. And that's what I believe in, and what I strive to.
Yep. right there, for me, that's the power of authenticity. People have very good bullshit meters, and when you're in sales, you're almost paid to bullshit, and
Absolutely, yeah.
sell people on a product that they might not
Yeah.
actually need or want. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when you communicate and you show with authenticity that that shit is real and our
Mm-hmm.
bullshit meters, like the little needles in our bullshit meters, barely move.
Yeah,
And that shit is contagious. That's what I love about
absolutely.
it. That's what
That's
I
what
love
I
about it.
said in one of my episodes as well when I launched my podcast. It is, we are looking now for real and genuine conversations with real people and real
Mm,
stories, and we've been overloaded by reality television,
yeah.
scripted stuff. We're done.
Yep. Yep.
Like, we've seen it. It was fun in the beginning, and now we want real stuff. And
Yep.
yeah, I think that's the power of podcasts, and that's the
Yep.
power of our platforms as well.
Viva la revolution, I say. So,
Yes. No more
so,
Temptation Island, guys. No more
oh
Temptation Island.
God, God. It's like I'm just going to tut like an old man there. It's like
Yeah,
that's crap.
it
But
is.
so, Alexander, where can we find you?
At this moment, you can find me on Instagram, proud to be out. I will launch my website soon in the next month.
Yep.
It will be there. I have a Facebook group. It's called Proud to be Out as well, but I have to develop it even more. But that's because I want to finish up my work now in the
Yep.
next 2 weeks, and then I have all the time to work on it. So stay tuned on my Instagram for now, and I will share my website and everything up there. And you can find my podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and as well I have my link on my Instagram, so you can find it easily. Um, and I would love to hear from you. So give me a review. Tell me what you think about it. Um, I would really appreciate that. And if I if I or one of my guests could have inspired you, please let me know as well, because that's why we are doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And what you just said applies to me too, please, listener.
yeah, of course.
And if you like the content, tell someone else, share it with them, give a good review.
Sharing is caring, guys.
Exactly. And then, but if you don't agree, if you think it's crap or whatever, please tell me so I can improve it.
Yeah,
So oftentimes we don't share what we think is good, but we share very quickly what we think is bad, without actually letting it be an opportunity to develop and grow and change and stuff. So please do that.
yes.
Before we wrap up, Alexander, I do want to say that to the listener that I've said it recently when we were talking about a good and a bad coming out and being outed. You don't have to work through the thoughts and feelings of loneliness alone. Indeed, you don't get a prize for doing it, and you miss a valuable opportunity. You miss nature's way. You miss your body's way of getting the real, authentic connection that you need if you do it alone. If you decide to read the blogs, read the books, listen to the podcasts, watch the YouTube videos, watch, I don't know, so many episodes of Oprah, like there comes a point where you need to do. And you don't need to do the doing alone. I have a site for my premium subscribers for the Loneliness Guy. I have a page a group on Facebook designed expressly for gay men who are experiencing loneliness and social disconnection to come get the support and get support that they need to connect authentically with themselves, those that they love most, and their communities to get support and to give support to other gay men putting themselves out into the world. It's inspiring stuff. And I would love for you, listener, to join us for the low price, monthly price of $9.95 Australian a month, which I did say was a low amount. That's about $6.50 US at the moment a month. So you don't get a prize for doing this, doing connection, reconnection alone. I'm here to help, and I would love to help you. And I know that the people in the in the Facebook group, including Michael Diorio, also want to help you as well. So all of that can be found on my website, thelonelinessguy.com/subscribe. There's going to be a link in the bio. But for now, Alexander, it's really like reluctantly, I could talk all day, as we could probably guess, talk all day about this stuff because it's real, it's important. I simply want to say thank you. Thank you for, first of all, your patience with technical issues, but second of all, and most importantly, for showing up, being you here in this chat, connecting over coffee with the Loneliness Guy, as well as putting you into the world. It's really just inspiring stuff, and that shit inspires me too. So thank you.
Vice versa. It was worth waiting for because this kind of conversations are amazing. And I'm at the beginning of my day here in Amsterdam. It's 8:30 now here, and I have so much positive energy now. I think this will be my day, and that's because of you, Phil. Thank you so much for having me and to share all your thoughts with me and to discuss this topic. And I hope we could have inspired some of you listeners. Yes, and let's reconnect again soon.
Let's do it. And I do want to do one more thank you. You've done all of this in a language that is not your native language. Thank you. I'm super impressed. As someone who has learned French, German, Spanish, Vietnamese, Korean, and English along the way.
That's much more than I can. Yeah, I can tell you.
Does not mean that I can speak them with any confidence. German, Spanish, yes, but nothing else. And I am so deeply impressed and thankful that you have done this in a language that is not your first language. Thank you. I'm in awe. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your words.
Thanks, Alexander.
Thanks. Good luck, Phil.
Thank you. I've just stopped recording there but still recording here.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I am so grateful. So grateful.
I love it as well. This is great content. Yeah.
And you know, someone somewhere will watch it on YouTube. Someone somewhere will listen to it on Spotify and all the places that it's going to be. And you know, they will be reached. Mm-hmm. Someone somewhere will hear that and know that they're not alone. So thank you. I am just supremely grateful.
You're welcome. I loved it. So let's do this again another time.
Yep, let's do it. And I will I'll end the recording here. But go forth, be you in the world, and to you, Alexander, and to you, viewer, go and be awesomely yourself today and put the authentic you out to the world, because it's all what we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you later.